based on the work of Van Ritken and Wilbrandt. The worldwide distribution of organic matter, and an attempt to diagram all at once the interrelationality of evolutionary species. This is drawn 38 years before Origin of Species. What we are coming to, a cartoon by Grant Hamilton of 1895. You see there, it's a sort of tower building with every possible program smashed together, stacked on top of each other in peculiar juxtaposition. Prefiguring Rem's delirious New York polyjuxtapositional thesis by at least 90 years. The org chart really is a section describing not the specificity of those who sit within its spaces, such in Durer's Grand Arch, but rather the replaceable persons, in which case who happen to have a position within a metaphorically architectural set of relationships. Alejandro Zarapolo, of course, written recently about the logic of an iconic sectionality, the ways in which a section of the building comes to demonstrate not only the performative logic of the system of relationality in between, but to demonstrate and in fact diagram that on the surface envelope skin of the section itself. So the question then, really, let's say the granular substance of the talk, is how program becomes an image, perhaps how more importantly, how images becomes a program. Is it possible to program ourselves out of this, what we've drawn ourselves into? And I'd like you to think about this in terms of what we could think of three modalities of the image. An immanent image, a projective image, and an interfacial image. The immanent image. Elizabeth Gross, another of my favorite philosophers, makes the claim, quite convincing claim, that art really begins with the dances and songs of animals. The capacity of animals to demonstrate themselves, to declare a territory, to territorialize a space with their own expression and their own movement. And in this, their ability to strategize sexual selection is dependent upon their ability to be good artists. But the status of the image then is something quite different today. It's a different kind of currency. But currency isn't the only kind of money or source of money. Art is money too. Art is other things, but as any investor can tell you, art today is a purified form of the speculative commodity. It's as purified a form as one can find. Damien Hirst is a pork belly, and he knows it. Art objects in the royal functionlessness, quote, do little, but go up and down in resale value. The yearnings of other than the yearnings of sentimental archivists and unemployable aesthetes, art's main purpose is as a commodity object, is as a displayable reservoir of capital. In addition to registering an intensity of affect, art is a good place to park and launder money, which is partially why sons and daughters, wives and boyfriends and girlfriends of shady international arms dealers and junk debt financiers are such an important part of the art scene. The circulation of bad money, however, not only carefully distorts the calibrated central bank monetary policy, it dilutes the authority of the state's monopoly on the very value that binds the economy into a society. By doubling or tripling this into a polyopoly of competing substances and competing media, competing currencies of the real, the very authority of money to offer the system of value in exchange begins to unravel. And with that, so go the social ties that it bound. Nobody knows what any of it is worth. And today, this is much more than an academic consideration. The bursting of the bubble is a bursting of the signified of money itself, the totemic ontology of objective value. Whatever money is, it is less that than it was the year before. At the immanent image then. What is the impact then of digitalization on the immanent image, on its capacity to produce the affect of which we're speaking? This is the words of Thomas Rush, compressed JPEGs, blown up then to quite large then again. The data image is then not only about the image of data, its code as actual direct sensate substance, but in fact a substance in and of the world. But even in this substantialization of the data image, this is not what frees it from the abstractions of exchange values. It is not what guarantees its capacity to control its own abstraction. For example, another project, the K Foundation, KLF, there's a piece burned £1 million, went to the island in the North Sea, burned £1 million filmed it. And this became the piece. Money is data, art is money, money is nothing, now what? If you Google Jackson Pollock, the very first result is a site by the artist Miltos Manetis that uses flash code by Stamen Design that uses a splatter method used by Jackson Pollock. On that site, jacksonpollock.org, quote, Jackson Pollock is translated into a set of recognizable instructions, a range of gestural techniques simplified, transmitted, and made available to any creature capable of poking and clicking a mouse. This is art as software more than software as art. But what makes jacksonpollock.org more interesting is that it turns the agency back onto the audience. The artist, Manetis, doesn't make Pollocks. He doesn't even make the flash code. He makes the situation in which you make the Pollocks, in which you can do nothing but make Pollocks, no matter what you're trying to point, click, or type, just more Pollocks. The pun that unpuns the first. Here, the software that had floated from Janet Sobel to Jackson Pollock to Warhol to every post-war freshman painting major is synthesized into a clear algorithmic frame that no longer relies on the artist to produce content because that's what users and audiences are for. On the economy of art, this leaves us in an intractable situation. On the one hand, software wants to be free, and as the substance of the art object becomes procedural and informational, the singularity of that object as a guarantee and guarantor of authenticity of a work starts to dissolve. What is the value of risk in this? Well, try this. Take a banknote from your pocket. If you wish to do this, you certainly can do it. Take a banknote from your pocket, tear it up into little pieces, and stack those pieces into some nice pattern. What have you done? What have you destroyed? There's one less yen, euro, dollar, mark, whatever in the world than there was a few seconds ago. But what are those really? Of course, most dollars, to take the example, do not physically exist as currency, but as abstract blips in recombinant databases. So is the dollar bill really a dollar? Or was it a representation of a, quote, dollar, a flat green token of some metaphysical financial substance with remote origins and ontologies? I don't know, you tell me. Currency, like money, is both substance and medium. It is a value incarnate, and it mediates the value of the things we exchange through and as money. This note is equal to that car, this note is equal to that chair, and so on. Exchange value, currency as medium, money as currency, are both for the most part issued by national and transnational governments, and not cities, banks, museums, casinos, supermarkets, or nomadic warlords, though each of these can induce notes or other kind of loyalty currencies. Furthermore, the legitimacy of money and the legitimacy of the issuing nation are pretty much the same thing. As one goes, so goes the other. And this is why counterfeit money, counterfeit art, counterfeit architecture is such a big deal. Money is data, art is money, money is nothing. Now what? Especially because it takes money to build buildings. It takes affectively intensive images to motivate money to do this. The projective image. In art, the image is an immanent copy, or it is within a representational logic. It refers only to itself, or it refers to itself as a copy in the Platonic sense of a direct experience. In architecture, the building is a result of the image. The actual habitat is a re-rendering of the virtual image, now as tangible molecular matter. It refers to something outside of itself, something projected forward into a diagrammable future. Architecture is always a chain of translation and re-representation, the play from the virtual into the real, the virtual into the actual. The issue then is one of causality, of the actual and the representational. Which causes which? The image as a copy of the real, or the real as a copy of the image? This raises a more fundamental issue that lies, in essence, at the heart of a philosophical problematic of the productivity of the virtual, which is obsessed, of course, obsessed Deleuze, Zizek, D'Alembert. Either the logic of sense, of the immaterial becoming as sense event, is the effect of bodily material processes and causes, the logic of the radical gap between generative processes and its immaterial sense effect, or the logic of becoming is the production of beings. Either the sense event, the flow of pure becoming, is the immaterial effect of the intercation of bodily material causes,